and your boy Corey, and you're back with another episode of Tea and Worship.
That's right, Tea. I see how you put that emphasis on it. This is Tea and Worship, the place where you know we give you the best gospel music artists out here today, and they perform for just for you. And we want to make sure that you keep watching us every Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on The Hope TV. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at The Hope TV, and make sure that you like, subscribe, hit that bell so you can get the reminders, and make sure that you comment. We want to hear from you, all right? Make sure you do that right now, Right now, I want to see something in the chat, okay?
Right now.
All right. Now, we just go ahead and get into this good show, Minnie. I'm so excited today because we got an actual friend, an actual brother, somebody that we see a lot. We see pretty often. This guest today is a singer, a producer, a vocal arranger, an actor, a director, a choir leader, a worship leader.
So tired.
Lord, I'm tired too. Today to Tea and Worship, our friend, Greg Kirkland Jr.
Oh, this is gonna be good. Oh, this is gonna be good.
Oh, yeah.
The champ is here. The champ is here.
I can't.
The champ is here.
You watch the man.
Why did we invite him?
You gonna find out. Oh, y'all done invited me to Tea and Worship.
Jesus,
Lord have mercy.
So, Gregory.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Kirkland.
Yes, sir.
I know that you could probably talk the whole show on this, so make this brief.
Y'all stop me.
But how did your incredible, you do so many things, not just music, of course, but how did just your entertainment or even worship, everything, how did that journey even start for you?
I have been singing since I was 4. My father is a bass player. My mom can sing, and the two of them started years ago. She was singing lead in his band, and then when I came around, I would sit on his lap during rehearsals, go to his shows and things of that sort. And then around 4, I started singing in church, right? And I always say my grandmother was my first manager, because she would do the thing where she would send the paper up front and request me to sing, and that's how I would end up on the program.
Put my baby on the program.
And then while I was singing in church, then my dad would have me singing in the local talent shows and things of that sort. And so it was just always a thing. And then around 13 is when I auditioned for the 5 Young Men. And it was at that time that I started an actual professional singing career. That's crazy. Traveling, and that's all I've ever done since then.
So has there always really been a desire?
It has.
Yeah.
I have never wanted to do anything else.
Yeah.
I often tell this story of being with the 5 Young Men, that we did a television interview one day, and the host went down the line and asked everybody what they wanted to be when they grew up. And one of the guys said a basketball player, one said he wanted to be a doctor, and one said he wanted to own a sound, an audio-visual company, and all these things. They never asked me. But I remember standing on the stage thinking, what are we doing here? What's going on here? And I remember in my mind saying, this is it. This is all I want to do.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, we know that this man is like an onion. There are several layers. Several. So, but I want to at least kind of start with you being a worship leader. How did that even happen? Did it, tell us about it.
Something that's interesting is I became a worship leader by title before I became one by understanding. Being in the Black church, it was always devotion.
Yeah.
And being at the church that I was at, that I served at before I got to House of Hope, Atlanta, it just was like a natural progression. He can sing, he can lead, he's a choir director. So I just kind of naturally migrated into the position of worship leader, And at that time, it meant get out there, lead the song, lead the people in the moment, And so it didn't matter what kind of song, didn't matter what kind of, that's praise and worship.
Yeah.
I can honestly attribute being at House of Hope and then serving at Elizabeth Baptist as well. Both of those became my training ground of really learning what it was to become a worship leader and how to lead worship and what that criteria meant and the structure of it and the approach of it. And to ask the question of what's that like as a worship leader, or how has that evolved for me? It's serving in churches where the pastors took the time to kind of teach me how to lead worship.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it has helped me to develop that craft and that art, and the way I decide to approach it now.
Yeah. I got my start with you.
Oh my! Oh,
I have never ever led worship ever until you brought me
listen.
over here. And like you said, I was just singing. I didn't know, you know?
Sure.
And, throughout the years, what's been, 10
It's
years
been-
now?
Yeah.
Like, different conversations with you. You've taught me what true worship is. So I thank you for that.
Listen, my pleasure. I'm so appreciative of you. I'm so grateful for you.
No, I'm grateful for you.
I am grateful.
So you've been at House of Hope for 50 years.
Oh.
Look, 50 years.
I'm happy. I'm happy. I didn't. That sounded worse than what it meant.
He's happy.
I'm happy.
You've been, GTR and now House
yes.
of Hope. You've been here for a lot of years.
15.
And Elizabeth, you've
Yes.
been there for quite some time
10.
as well. What advice would you give worship leaders on how to have longevity?
I would say it's kind of twofold. The first thing I would say, of course, beyond that of having a heart that is given to God first. That's almost for me without mentioning.
Yeah.
But from a standpoint of service, I think it's kind of twofold. I think that the first thing that has to be understood is that you have to understand the heart of the pastor of the church.
Yeah.
And be in a place of service, be in a place of being in tune with the moment and the vision and where they're going.
Yeah.
So we talk a lot about pastors who might seem to be intimidated or might seem to have but it's because the worship leader has a place of influence. So it's important for the worship leader to have a heart of submission. And have a heart of, I'm here to serve. And so it's not my place to override and to try to sing the people into a place where the preacher can't preach.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's not my place. My place is to lead the people to a place of worship, to get them to a place where their heart is open to receive the word.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? And so the first thing I would say is, being in tune with the pastor of the church. And then secondly, being in tune with the people and the heart of the people. And, just understanding the ebbs and flows of life.
Yeah.
I've learned that you have to be in tune with the elements. When it's raining outside, certain holidays, there's a certain approach that you have to take, and so if you just get to the heart of God, and then the submission to the leader, and then the heart of the people, then you'll have longevity.
Yeah. Never seen you bounce from church to church. I've always seen you be very, very consistent with these two ministries, and I know everywhere you go, I'm pretty sure people try to pull you and try to. Hey, come on over here, come on over here. People just love you. They love you. They love what you bring,
But I'm committed.
So how important is it to know, especially a ministries, but how important is it to know where you're planted?
Sure. That comes from the voice of God. God will lead you. I have said no to some amazing opportunities and offers and large amounts of money.
Yeah.
But it wasn't what he was saying in the moment. It wasn't. It wasn't a place of peace. It has to be a place of prayer where you're constantly allowing God to lead you to say, I didn't send them. It's not time for that, you know, or being in tune enough to be able to foresee that, if I say yes to that, that's not going to last. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it's not worth it
Yeah.
to jump ship and just go to the next best offer, because all money ain't good money.
Yeah.
All places ain't places where you want to be covered by and bring your family and just, submit yourself to.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's good.
So true. Don't do all that hopping. Y'all heard the man of God. So look, we are going to be right back with more Tea and Worship with Mignon and Corey and our special guest, Greg Kirkland Jr. Do not go anywhere.
So in this case, when we're talking about adverse feelings, about negative experiences that happen to us repeatedly, this is the first ingredient that leads itself to emotional affliction and ultimately bitterness, because as things happen to us, and it happens to us repeatedly, it has an adverse or negative impact.
Severe weather can strike anytime, anywhere, but there's a simple way to stay safe. Hey, Jim Cantore here. I stay safe, easy steps. Build an inexpensive kit with supplies for your family's needs. Write down important information like phone numbers and medications. Always talk with your family, and remember any pets in your planning. Be ready, be safe. Start your plan today at ready.gov/plan.
Today, we're going to be making some shallots, bell peppers and onions, white vinegar, and you let it sit in the refrigerator and chill.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to CM and our special guest, Greg Kirkland Jr. Now, Greg, I have had the awesome privilege of being able to just glean from you as a worship leader, just to see your heart for God. But also, I was actually talking to Mignon about this yesterday. Like, you're one of the people that if Greg can't, bro, can you sing at such and such? If I'm available, I don't even care what it is. I don't care about the amount.
Ain't asking no details.
I ain't asking no details because I trust
Yeah.
that Greg, like his integrity, and I trust that wherever he has,
He ain't gonna
us
send
to
you
go,
nowhere.
he ain't gonna send us nowhere. So I have also had the awesome privilege of being a part of the See It Choir, which I'm so proud to be a part of, and we've done some amazing, amazing things in just really a little time, honestly. So Greg, can you just kind of share briefly like how that vision came about and what your vision is for that particular choir?
Well, I'm going to talk to Corey on this one.
She don't want to hear it.
He fired me.
Ain't nobody fired me, y'all.
No.
Nobody fired me, y'all.
She did one thing and left.
Hello.
Okay.
She left us.
You know what?
She did.
It's Tea and Worship. We're going to talk about that later.
We're going to get back to it.
And just let
She
him
left
answer
us
my
like
question.
Diana Ross. But anyway, 2013, actually I can go back. So 2012, we had gotten, don't judge, but I was hired, to put together a choir for Heineken Beer.
Okay.
Heineken Beer had a big thing here at the Fox Theater. But in that particular tour, we came home 3 days out of the week, and then we were on the road 4 days out of the week. So in my time at home, I put the choir together, then I left. Then when I came back, I had them rehearse, and then I left, and that was that event. Then 2013, I was working on the set of BET Let's Stay Together. I got a call from the Conan O'Brien show, and they wanted me to put together a choir because Conan was coming into town and he wanted to do the choir. So I put, the choir together for that. Left it alone, that was it. Fast forward, Nene Leakes' wedding. They wanted the choir.
The one thing that Mignon did with us.
I ain't got no emails. I ain't got no text messages.
I got an event coming up.
I seen it. I've been looking.
See how the Saints do? So with that event actually went to Zeb. That event actually went to Zeb.
That
It did.
explains it.
Okay, so when it went to Zeb, I called Zeb because I knew about it. I found out about it, and I called him. I said, "Look, I got a bit of a system in place, and I think if we work together, we can pull this off." And so we did. We did Nene Leakes' wedding, and right after that event, Wendy Jackson, Zebulon Ellis, and myself went and sat down at P.F. Chang's and they said, Greg, you got to do it. You need to do this and make it a thing.
Yeah.
Because obviously there's a place
Yeah.
for it, which is true because Atlanta at that time was becoming Hollywood.
Yeah.
Now it is
Yeah.
Hollywood. But at that time, it was progressing and things of that sort. And what was happening was that every time they would shoot a TV show, every time they would shoot a movie, they would start calling churches and look for choirs and things of that sort. I said, you know what? If we work it together, I'll do it. And that's when we officially established in 2013 the See It Choir. And since then, we've done major motion pictures and huge galas and affairs and TV, and God has just really anointed and put his blessing on it.
awesome.
And I'm glad I said yes.
Yeah.
Me too.
Well, me too. Maybe one day, I'll get an opportunity to sing again
Don't you worry.
with the See It Choir.
Maybe.
Don't
Nah.
listen to her. Don't listen to her. She got too big for it.
Exactly.
Okay, so we know that not only, you love to sing, worship leader and all of that, but we know you're into the acting, which you're giving us now. And we know you've done some incredible things with Tyler Perry. How did you land on such an incredible opportunity?
I auditioned for Tyler Perry in 2011. He was doing a show called Aunt Bam's Place, starring Cassie Davis. And he did an all-call, and I auditioned, and I actually got a part in that show. And told all my friends and all of my family, and they all went out and bought tickets. And then they called me and said, we wrote the part out.
Oh.
Wrote the part out. So I was disheveled and just distraught and just disheartened. And then 3 months later, because that show was supposed to be in August, a few months later, they called me back and they said they had another show that was on the road. It was called The Haves and the Have-Nots with Palmer Williams and Patrice Lovely. And they needed a background singer. I said, okay, well, let's do it. And I went out on the road with that show. And then from there, they picked me up and I was able to do Madea Gets a Job. And then from there, took a little break. And then they did Hell Has No Fear, Like a Woman Scorned, Medea's Neighbors from Hell. Mr. Perry went to the Bahamas and did the Tom Joyner Fantastic Voyage cruise tour. And they just started inviting me to be a part of those things and sing and do that type of thing. And from there, just developing a relationship with them. They started keeping me in mind when they were doing things. And that's when we got the call to do Medea's Family Funeral. And Medea's Family Funeral was the first motion picture that I actually had a moment in where I sang and the choir was involved and we were actually featured, in a major motion picture. I had been a part of the gospel in 2007, but it wasn't me, it was just my voice.
Right.
And Boris was on there
Kojak.
trying to lip sync.
We knew that was you, though.
Yeah.
My kids said, Mama, that's not Uncle Greg. I said, yeah, that's my Greg.
Yeah, it was me. It was me. But that's how that relationship started. I say that I'm a better writer than I am an actor. And my wife agrees, and my daughter agrees, and I'm not ashamed of that. Direct, than act. But I'll do it if I have to.
If you have to.
Have
you ever thought about what if you would have said no because you felt like doing BGVs was beneath you?
Oh my gosh, what a great question.
Yeah.
I never thought about that because that's never been in me, but that is such a great question. Because I would have forfeited
Yeah.
what the plan, and you can do that.
Yeah.
I would have forfeited what God had,
Man.
for me. So I'm grateful that I said yes.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. Singing background. Listen. One thing I'm gonna tell you is, it's one thing to sing background. It's another thing to sing background for Tyler Perry.
Yes, sir.
I'm sure it is.
Oh, yeah.
Don't you worry about it.
Oh, yeah.
That was a blessing.
I'm sure.
Oh, God blesses the BGV to sing for Tyler Perry.
I'm sure
so
it is.
I was grateful. I was grateful for that, yes. Listen. But yeah, I ended hard, and I'm glad that I said yes, because if I had said no, it would have been the worst decision that I've ever
Did you
made.
discover like your love for writing while you were out with him, or is that something that had already kind of developed?
I think that because prior to that, actually, believe it or not, the reason why I was chosen even for the role in Aunt Bam's Place is because there was a character that I was playing. There was a small play company called Stardom Productions, and I played a character called Melvin. And Melvin had a stutter. And so when I auditioned for Mr. Perry, he said, "Can you be funny?" And I started stuttering, and he just loved it, right? So being a part of this and being a part of that, that's when I started because they already had a developed show, but I would find myself like tweaking the script and getting on stage and giving the actors ideas when we approach it, try it like this time, you know. That's when it started developing me in me like, I kind of enjoy this, you know what I'm saying? And from there, it just migrated into writing and directing, and you know, I wrote Freed, and that was my baby. Yeah. And from there, it's just been a thing.
I love Freed.
Now, like I told y'all at the beginning of the show, layers, onion, peel, right? So we also know, and for those that don't know, this man and guy has worked with the J.J. Hairston in Youthful Praise. And I know that not only have you worked with J.J., but you also have developed a true friendship and brotherhood. And so we're going to come back to that because we're going to a break. But he's going to talk about that when we come back with more Tea and Worship with Mignon and Corey. Don't go away.
What type of encouragement or something you would tell single people dating? Because
social media is not permanent. Social media is artificial. Learn how to be yourself with a person. Be honest
and know your worth. And I will say this: quit valuing yourself like a Rolls Royce, but you showing hoopty mentality. You know, you parading around like a hoopty. Because real men who somebody worth something, we not looking to take a hoopty home.
You're home before sunrise, on top of the house, the kids, and our future. The smell of your cooking is our My Shiro's day is never done. So let's start saving a little more now so we can feel prepared for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give us the personalized tips we need so we can live our lives to the fullest. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
You can say yes 20 times to please somebody, but the one time you say no,
that's what they remember.
That's what they remember.
Chris Rock said in the movie Spiral, I think it is, the new Saw. He said, you can give a woman 1,000,000 Tuesdays, but you turn down 4 Saturdays, and she'll remember it forever.
That's right. Wow.
Now, these commercial breaks, I'm tired of them. But we are back with more Tea and Worship with Mignon and Corey and our guest, Greg Kirkland Jr. Now, before the break, Greg, I was asking about your relationship with J.J. Hairston. Sure. Just tell us briefly, like, how you two even came together and became, like, actual friends.
Even that is so, I don't know. I don't know, because, you know, as both of you, I'm sure, can attest, you know, when we're younger, I mean, I've been a choir director since I was 11, right? And so when I was over the youth choir at Hopewell Baptist, I remember teaching Awesome God and Lord You're Mighty, and I was teaching, you know, I was teaching those songs to our choir, you know, revering J.J. Hairston, Youthful Praise. You know, I never forget, I ran into J.J. I know he would never remember this, but I had gone to the Gospel Heritage Conference in Jacksonville, Florida. And on my way home, JJ was sitting in the airport, And I stopped and I just introduced myself to him and just told him how much, I enjoyed his music and whatnot. And he was just as humble as could be. And then, for me, he was a star. He was J.J. Hairston. And fast forward, I run into him in Atlanta, and then Beyonce connected us at the Thomas Dorsey convention here. And from there, I started singing with him, and I just started realizing that a great deal of his life mirrored mine. Being a husband and a father, and being a choir director, and traveling and trying to juggle and trying to be in ministry and trying to, raise a family and do all those things, realizing the parallel. And for that reason, I sat down with him one day and I just told him, I said, and I've never shared this with anybody, so y'all getting the tea. Y'all getting the tea. I asked him to mentor me.
Wow.
And he was shook because he felt like, because of Passy, Dewey Smith, and Tyler Perry, and this person, Kevin Bond, and he said, that you would ask me is humbling, And I told him, I said, all of those people I do, thank God for the relationships that we have, but there's a connection that's undeniable. And from there, we just developed a brotherhood. I asked him to be in my wedding, and he said yes. And then from there, he started trusting me to do vocal production, praise. And so that is just a genuine relationship that I am so grateful for. I am so, to be able to, I call him today. And just to be able to have a connection with someone who genuinely loves God. Oh my God. And it's not a show, and it's not, and for that, that's what that's awesome. That's what I take to heart. So that's my brother. JJ is my brother. Yeah, y'all know.
And you can tell. But we cannot sit here and talk to you about all of those amazing things without bringing up my sister, Leslie.
Oh, Lord. I'm like, who's your sister?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Your phenomenal wife. What we do is, it's a lot.
Yes.
And to have somebody, on your side that understands is important.
It absolutely is.
So share with us, because I couldn't imagine being your wife. I'll be like,
we're going to talk when these cameras go off. Oh.
Like you going where? You do what? You gonna be scared? But how important is it to have somebody on your side that helps you balance and that understands what you do?
I can't. Let me first say this. There have been times when it has been difficult for her as well. But God is so wise and strategic that He connected me with someone who also was a church girl, who came up out of New Orleans, who also, came up in the gospel arena. She'll tell you quick, I did this before you. She sang all overseas in Spain, and she was on Star Search, and she used to sing with Bishop Paul Morton, and he laid hands on her, told her she was gonna be so listen, without me.
Without you.
Without me.
That's right, Leslie.
That's right, Leslie.
Right. She makes that clear, But because of that, she understands my world. And she understands the fact that if she support what?
That preacher came out right there.
Listen! And she just understands the fact that if she supports and endorses what I do, that it benefits us all.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
She understands that.
Yeah.
And that for me is beyond words.
I love that.
But look, we don't have a lot of time, but we're about to get to this good section.
I was going to keep talking so that y'all didn't get me with this, because I'm saved.
We do not want him to get past our favorite part of the show,
I don't know
Church
these
That
songs.
Hook. Now, Greg, you already know what Church That Hook is about. We're going to take a song that's not a traditional gospel song, and we want you to church it up in any way you want to. So first song I have for you is Luther Vandross, Here and Now. And he know all the songs, so I know this ain't gonna be hard, man.
See, y'all think y'all slick. Y'all went old school with me. I don't know all the verses. One look in your eyes And there, I said, and there,
He said in there.
and there, I see just how much you really mean to me. Here and now,
Yeah.
I promise to love faithfully.
Yes.
And great is your faithfulness. Hey! Y'all don't want to do it with me today. Y'all don't want to do
Oh,
it.
don't worry, we got one more. All right, and the second one we have for you is September.
Oh, you set me up with this one.
I know you know this one.
Lord, church. Okay. Lord. And we say, Maria, say do you remember, Maria, dancing in September, Maria, never was a cloudy day.
Yeah.
Open the floodgates. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm waiting.
That's all I got.
All right. Well, Greg, before we go, can you please just share with our audience what we can expect for you in the near future? I know you got a million things going on, but what can we expect from you?
And talk about your single.
Yes, please talk
Give.
about your single.
Yeah, like
Give.
where they can get
I
it.
was going to say, I ain't got no new one.
Well, no.
But good.
Well, talk about it
Yeah,
anyway.
give is everywhere. Give is on iTunes. It's a bit of old school meets Carnegie Hall, and I just love the arrangement that I did with Natalie Reagan's. She put some
Nat.
Carnegie Hall on it, and I just am so appreciative of that. So you can get Give anywhere. But here in the near future, we have several events with the See It Choir that are happening.
Several.
When we get to this part of the year is when we just pick up, and it just goes nuts. And there's some things I can't express that the See It Choir got going on because you got to sign non-disclosure.
Top secret.
When you sign a non-disclosure, God is in the blessing
Ain't
business,
he?
right? But we
Yeah.
got several events with the See It Choir, and it's getting ready to be holiday season, here at the House of Hope. So I know I'll be having to do something, write on something, write something for Christmas, and so yeah, that's gonna be my life for the next couple of months. I know.
And also, can you just share how people social media and
Sure.
just any encouraging words that you want to leave with the people?
Absolutely. My Instagram is it's so long. People talk about how long
so
it is.
long.
It's the See It brand, SEEIT, the See It brand _ of Greg Kirkland Jr. I just combined my whole life together. That's all I did.
My God.
And then on Facebook and Twitter, it's Greg Kirkland Jr. And my website is www.gregkirklandjr. Thank you. And my encouraging word to everybody is just this: make your decisions make sense. Make your decisions make sense. Whatever your end goal is, all of your decisions have to make sense toward that goal.
Yeah.
If there's a decision that does not make sense toward the end goal, then don't make it.
Yeah.
And it's not always easy. Some things are going to seem appealing, and you're going to want to take them. But if it does not make sense toward the end goal, it's not worth it, because it's going to detour you and take you somewhere else other than where you're trying to be. But if you make your decisions toward the end goal, you reach it.
That's awesome.
Make your decisions make sense. I love it. Well, this is it for Tea and Worship today. But you know that right after this, we're going to have a special performance by Greg Kirkland Jr.
Praise
himself.
the Lord.
But make sure you come back in with us next week at Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Hope TV. More Mignon, more Corey, and we love to see you again. Hey, have a good night. Peace, y'all.
We brought some friends all the way from Redan High School to ask God to send the blessings, to send the favor. Come on. We know that the blessings of the Lord maketh rich and addeth no sorrow. So we're going to sing this together. Come on. Men of hope, we say. Bless me, God indeed. Come on. Death has been defeated. He is our victory. Say. Bless me, God, not just for me, but so everyone around me can have everything. Let all these folks that's with me, God, have everything they need. Say it again. Bless me, God indeed. Hey. Death has been defeated. He is our victory. Bless me, God, not just for me, but so everyone around me can have everything. Let all these folks conversation of all my enemies. Favor, favor, God not just for me, but so everyone around me can have everything. Let all these folks that's with me everything they say it again. Favor, favor, let it follow me. Come on. Till I'm the conversation of all my enemies. Favor, favor, God not just for me, but so everyone around me can have everything. Let all these folks that's with me God have everything. Bless me, God in me. Death has been defeated. Here's our victory. Bless me, God not just for me, but so everyone around me can have everything. Let all these folks that's with me God have everything. Say it again. Bless me, God in me. Death has been defeated. Here's our victory. Bless me, God not just for me, but so everyone around me can have everything. Let all these folks that's with me God have everything. Let all these folks that's with me. One more time. Let all these folks that's with me God have everything. Everybody say. I can't hear nobody. If you want the Lord to bless you, shout yeah. We're gonna speak about the blessing of the Lord. Let's sing it. Persecuted, not abandoned. We got everything we need. Criticized and forsaken. We got everything we need. Because God's a promise keeper. We got everything we need. I got the victory because I shall live and not die. We got everything we need. Because Jehovah's by my side. We got everything we need. Did I tell you he's a friend of mine? We got everything we need. Lift him up, lift him up. I got everything we need. Take it up, take it up. We got everything we need. Take it up, take it up. We got everything we need. Take it up, take it up. We got everything we need. You take it up, take it up. I got everything we need. I never should forget. We got everything we need. Daddy's never failed me yet. We got everything we need. Every trial, every test. We got everything we need. We bless, we bless, we bless, we bless. I got everything we need. We bless, we bless, we bless, we bless. We got everything we need. We bless, we bless, we bless, we bless. We got everything we need. We bless, we bless, we bless, we bless. We got everything we need. We bless, we bless, we bless, we bless. I got everything we need. We bless, we bless, we bless, we bless. We bless, we bless, we bless, we bless. We got everything we need. We bless, we bless, we bless, we bless. We got everything we need. We bless, we bless. I got everything we need. We got everything we need. We got everything we need. Whoa. We got everything we need. If you know you got it, say. We got everything we need. If you know you got it, say. I got everything we need. Somebody else make some noise right there. If you got everything you need, shout yeah. And we got everything we need. We got everything we need. I got everything I need. We got everything we need. You got everything you need. We got everything we need. We got everything we need. I got everything we need. We must, we must, we must, we must. We got everything we need. We must, we must, we must, we must. We got everything we need. We must, we must, we must, we must. We got everything we need. We must, we must, we must, we must. I got everything we need. Take it down. Bless me, God in me. Death has been defeated.